The whales are known for recording of life, and here I'm recording them as the planes, you know. We had memorials. The first 10 years was fairly good. The 10th one, there was 68 folks here. But after the 10th, it got to be just us that was putting it off, and maybe one or two other folks.
We're here at the 9/11 Whales Monument, and there's nobody here on 9/11, on the 20th anniversary. It was like kind of surreal coming here, because honestly we were like, oh, it could be popping. There's nobody here. Like 9/11 fell off. I think 9/11 fell off. I think actually people should post more never forget, because I think there are people forgetting, honestly.
The American public, both young and old, have developed a sort of amnesia about 9/11 and the invasions that followed. For all the talk about remembering, the bloodlust that overtook polite society in the early 2000s has become a distant memory. Despite popular belief, much of this rage was not naturally directed at Iraq and Saddam Hussein, but rather it was targeted towards him by the US state and media apparatus, which worked to manufacture consent for the invasion of the Middle East. It is valuable now to re-examine the stories propagated by these institutions, because similar techniques are still being used today.
Pues estas imágenes que le vamos a mostrar son el World Trade Center de la ciudad de Nueva York.
¿no?
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there.
This, of course, in Manhattan, New York City.
One report said, and we can't confirm any of this, that a plane may have hit
the World Trade Center. As you can see, those are pictures of smoke pouring out of a gaping hole.
Oh my goodness. We're looking at a live picture from Washington, and there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon. It would appear that there has been another...
In the 3 days after the attack, Congress met to vote on the Authorization for Use of Military Force, or AUMF, introduced as a joint resolution by Democratic Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle. The resolution would allow President Bush to invade Afghanistan to take out al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, the suspected perpetrators of the attacks.
The full resources of our government will be brought to bear in aiding the search and rescue, and in hunting down those responsible and those who may have aided or harbored them.
The resolution passed, with only one member in both the House and Senate voting no, Democratic Representative Barbara Lee.
Yet I am convinced that military action will not prevent further acts of international terrorism against the United States.
On September 18th, Bush would sign AUMF into law, and Lee's vote was drowned out by a chorus of public support for the 43rd president, with his approval rating reaching as high as 90%.
Peace and freedom will prevail.
The Taliban claims Osama bin Laden was unhurt in the raids, and the world waits for the next move.
Back in D.C., the Bush administration had been working behind the scenes to connect Iraq to the attacks. On September 11th at 2:40 p.m., Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld sent a memo to his aides asking them to look for Iraqi involvement.
Best info, fast. Judge whether good enough to hit Saddam Hussein at same time, not only bin Laden.
The public strongly supported the invasion of Afghanistan, as bin Laden and al-Qaeda were operating there. Iraq, however, had no connection to 9/11. This meant the Bush administration had to sell a compelling narrative to the American public, despite the lack of evidence.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world by seeking weapons of mass destruction.
The Congress speaks on Iraq, and the American public responds. President Bush wins a big one, as both the House and Senate delay, debate, then approve resolutions authorizing military force in Iraq.
Throughout 2002, the media published stories speculating about weapons of mass destruction being built in Iraq, including chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons. Judith Miller of the New York Times was essential to this operation, as she used anonymous intelligence sources to promote the idea that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. It later turned out that the intelligence fed to her and other members of the media about Iraq was fabricated, based only on rumors within these agencies.
That had led me to believe
You don't believe that you were manipulated, or that you accepted it.
All journalists are manipulated, and all politicians lie. They all try and spin.
Well, then let's go. Let's take specifics of one.
The Bush administration knew this, as did the rest of the world, but Bush and the media dug their heels in even further. The fear that resulted from attacks on September 11th was channeled into a fear of international terrorism and Iraq's weapons of mass destruction.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
Roger. Oh yeah, look at those dead bastards. Come on, let us shoot. Come on. Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield. Oh, it's their fault for bringing their kids to a battle. That's right. Course 1-8.
The way the Iraq War went down, leaving that was horrible. We should have never been there.